Happy Saturday, everyone. Happy Saturday.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Happy Saturday. Man, I feel so good this morning.
You always start off on fire. Listen, you guys, she always start off on fire every Saturday morning.
I'll be glad. I woke up, I got my right mind. I got activities of our limbs. I'm excited today. My lashes done. You know what I'm saying?
I can't say what I want to say.
You always saying what you want to say. So.
Sometimes when you don't have yourself together, the hair, the look,
Mm-hmm.
the makeup, you not complete. I remember my mom used to wake up every morning and she didn't leave the house until she put her makeup on.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize and understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But in the last 3 years, 4 years, I don't leave the house without my makeup.
Listen, I'm telling you, if I don't have earrings on, I feel bald head. Like I literally have to have my earrings on every time I leave the house.
So I'm coming over and steal all your earrings out the house.
You wouldn't even be able to do that if you tried.
You can go to the bathroom and I just went upstairs.
You couldn't do that even if you ran upstairs. You could. I got earrings in every area of my life, like at work, in my drawer. I got
In the
earrings
car?
in my car. I have earrings in my purse. I keep earrings with me
Can you
because
buy
I don't want to
can
be
you buy me
bald
some earrings
headed.
for my birthday?
I can.
I don't want no used earrings. Can you buy me some earrings?
Yes. What kind would you
Okay.
like?
I'm a hoop girl. I just wear the same earrings. You know that, right?
Listen, Lita, I wear hoops every day.
I'm just a hoop girl.
Listen, okay, hoop girl, that come back from childhood, right? From holding a rock in your hand and dribbling down the court. Come on, hoop girl.
No, no, but I'm a hoop girl for real.
I know,
I like hoops.
literally. Then you
Mhm.
play basketball?
Nope.
Mm. All right. So this Saturday morning, you see the Queen of Carlons is telling lies. No. but since I just said Regina the Queen of Carlons, I do want to acknowledge her. This is Women's History Month, and I want to give a shout out to Regina the Queen of Carlons. Thank you, Regina, for all you do in the community, your friendships, and just sitting beside you. It has been a blessing. So I thank God for you. Happy Women's Appreciation and Women's Month.
Well, you already know I appreciate you because you compliment me. We got some food. I needed some food for Sam's Club. So what we do is, and what I've learned to do is, you have to be able to, when you have a sidekick, when you have a business partner,
Mm.
when you have a little sister who acts like she's the big sister,
And
right?
it is.
Because I'm older, you have to be able to compliment each other.
Yeah.
So since we've been together, let me say close together, working more closely together, she is some of your ways have overpoured in my life. When I say that is,
I done rubbed off on
you done
you.
rubbed off on me.
Well, look,
Well,
that's the
listen,
prayer.
but-
That is the prayer. Lord, please let me
listen.
help somebody else.
Thank you, Lord.
Amen. Come
So
on.
no, you think about it because we talked about Sam's Club,
Yeah.
and when I get groceries now, I get it in a bulk,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I used to, well, not a lot of my groceries, but like for instance, my toothpaste
Mm-hmm.
and my mouthwash that I use,
And
for my
even
white teeth,
even laundry detergent,
laundry detergent.
paper towels, toilet paper, things like that. That's in bulk.
That's why I
Last
needed to
you.
get some toilet paper, and I didn't get.
Y'all see her on here telling me.
To get
You
some
see how
toilet
she?
papers and
Y'all
paper
see
towel.
this? Y'all, she on here giving me her list for Sam's Club.
But,
Okay.
but listen, so when you sit beside someone that does things a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
if it's good, it rubs off on you. If it's bad, it automatically rubs off on you if you don't pay attention, right?
That's true.
So I mean, we talked about cooking. We talked about no, Regina, prepare this because I use the air fryer now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Congratulations.
it's quick. It's
Yes.
quick.
Yes.
We talked about putting doing cutting tomatoes up,
Like doing meal
food prep.
prep.
Yeah,
like
meal prep,
prepping
doing
ahead
things
of
like
time.
that. Because when I get up in the morning, I used to just put it in a air fryer and then I make it then. But the small things like the salad and things
Mm-hmm.
like that, instead of
Yeah.
going to the marketplace
Mm-hmm.
and getting the salad,
Yeah.
it costs
And just like
$13.99.
or having your oatmeal or just having things in bulk so you won't go out and buy it every day. And that really lines up with the word of the day because what we're talking about is prepping, scheduling, getting things done ahead of time so it can make life easier for you.
Mhm.
So let's just get into the word of the day. You came up with this word, so let's kick it off.
Well, you know what? Scheduling let me see. So, you might have to kick it off because I was going to read it off the. Anyway, so scheduling to me is being prepared.
Mm-hmm.
You know, preparing for your day, preparing for your month, right?
Yeah.
Because myself in the car business, I say, you know what, I want to sell this amount of cars, or I want to talk to
Mm-hmm.
this many customers, or I need to make so many phone calls a day.
Mm-hmm.
So the day before, or maybe for that week, right, I'm thinking, okay, I need to make this many phone calls. I need to talk to this many people, and now that I don't have one of my flyers, but, I put flyers out, different
Mm-hmm.
places I can put my flyers.
Mm-hmm.
So scheduling a time that I need to prepare to make money.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
go ahead.
So I think that's good. So scheduling to me, when I thought about scheduling itself, I thought about structure. So scheduling helps you to have structure, and it helps you to bring peace to chaos, really. When I think about as a therapist, it helps to create stability and balance in a person's life. So when you begin to schedule things, it makes life easier for you. Now, I'm not going to say that scheduling solves all problems, but scheduling really does help you stay on, track. It even helps promote good mental health.
Mm-hmm.
It just helps that, and it helps be intentional. It helps with setting boundaries and priorities. But then again, when I think about scheduling just as a person, it's important for me to schedule prayer. It's important for me to make sure I schedule to get enough rest so that I can be the best version of me for somebody else. It's important that I spend time with Fred, schedule times like date nights and little small things so that I can make sure that our relationship stays healthy and spicy, right? Even with self care, it's important that I schedule time for me. So scheduling is important. And when I think about even with Jesus, so I'm gonna say this last piece, and we're gonna roll back over.
Well,
But
thank you. I can
Jesus,
talk after you
yeah,
talk.
you can talk, but I
Okay,
want you
thank
to
you.
know how important scheduling is because Jesus Himself scheduled things. You would see Him minister, and then you would see Him break away, and He would go pray, and He would rest, and then He would come back and do it all over again. And that's just like us in our lives. We do a lot of things repetitiously over and over again, and when we don't get enough rest, when we don't get recharged, then now we're not mentally, physically, and emotionally stable.
So I like that you're saying that, but with scheduling, what I find with some people is that they value their schedule,
Yeah,
but they don't value someone else's schedule.
yeah, that's true.
For instance, I had an appointment yesterday with a customer. He had at 10:45, 10:50. I'm calling him.
Hmm.
Hello. I identify myself. What are you? Are you planning to make your appointment with me today? Are you
Hmm.
running a little late, or do we
Hmm.
need to reschedule?
Yeah,
Well, I was doing this and I was doing that.
yeah,
I said, do you want to reschedule? He
yeah.
said, I can come in tomorrow. I said, I got 11 o'clock, I got a 12, and I got 1:15. He
Mm.
was like, I'll take the 11 o'clock. I said, are you going to show up? Because if you're not, we can just reschedule when you let me know when you want to reschedule.
Yeah,
And I got to the point was because my time is my money.
yeah.
Again, let me say it again. My time is my money. So
Hmm.
value my time. When you
Hmm.
go to the doctor's office, when they call, they used to call you and remind you. Now
Yeah,
they send you a text,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or they might even send you an email,
Hmm.
and they want you to confirm.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. You get a text, C for confirm,
Hmm.
R for rescheduling. But scheduling in the car business refers to organizing and managing appointments, tasks,
Hmm.
resources to optimize operations in areas such as auto shops, dealerships, and manufacturers. For instance,
Hmm.
you got your oil change yesterday. You
Yeah.
scheduled an appointment,
You have to
and
schedule
you was
appointments.
10 minutes early.
Yeah.
And then see, the thing is though, you don't just plop in. The reason I say you don't plop in because you plop in and you want people to jump through hoops and
Hmm.
you want people to move other people aside. That doesn't happen unless you may have an emergency.
Yeah.
So it's very important that you schedule.
Hmm.
Look at your schedule to maintain your vehicle. Just like you maintain your health, right?
Yeah.
Just like you maintain your personal life, you gotta schedule with your car. You gotta
Yeah.
maintain your car.
Hmm.
People don't realize a lot of things that they do when it comes to their car. Your car will tell you if something's gonna happen. They're going to give you a signal,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Just like if you're not feeling good,
Your
right?
body's gonna give you a
Right, your body's
signal.
going to give you a signal.
Yeah.
So your car is going to give you a signal. Do you need to schedule somebody to look at it? Maybe the dealership is not where you want to take it. or maybe you need to schedule it to one of your mechanic. But schedule that appointment.
Yeah, and that's the same, like you said, your body will give you telltale signs when you need to have something done. Also, even our minds, and we know within ourselves when we're off. So, scheduling an appointment to see someone to talk things out. Sometimes you just need to sit in front of someone and a therapist and just have a conversation. When you say things out loud, sometimes you can understand, the way I'm thinking don't make sense. So, scheduling has a purpose. And you can't just walk in a doctor's office and demand to see a doctor.
Well, some doctor's office, and what I just noticed from my doctor's office, they accept walk-ins. So I'm like, wow, that's different.
Yeah.
But I like that is because you never know. You don't have to go to the emergency room all
That's
the time.
real good.
You know what I mean? You don't.
Yeah.
The emergency room, you're going to sit there for hours. Then they're going to take their time. You're going to be put on the list. You're going to do this. But the doctor's office, you got an issue. Hey, I need to come in. And if it's available, when you have, I guess now, doctors they have the practice, right?
Yeah.
Right? Where it's 3 or 4 doctors in there at the same time.
Yeah.
Or they're rotating. So if you don't see your primary doctor, you can see another doctor.
That's good.
And the one thing when I noticed about my excuse me, my doctor's office now is that my doctor's older, right? I saw the lady; she was probably in her 30s, 40s, young doctor.
Yeah.
And I was excited because it's the new way,
Yeah.
the new brain of looking at things.
Yeah. And new people are coming on.
Yeah.
So thank God for the new, right?
Thank God.
The scheduling is very important. You must schedule. You can't, I thank God for those that have doctors that take walk-ins, but for those like myself who does not take walk-ins, making sure that you schedule your appointments are mandatory. They just mandatory. And keeping up with the schedule. So it's one thing, like you said, to schedule something, but to not show up. When you maintain a schedule, you keep your mental health at the forefront of your mind. You keep things going like it should. Like, for instance, if you're on blood pressure pills and you don't take your medication like you're supposed to, your blood pressure is going to go up and down. It's going to fluctuate. But when you take it like you're supposed to, it helps maintain your body and keeps your blood pressure at a level that's normal. Yeah, so schedule is important.
Facts.
Schedule is important. So if you're watching today, share with us, why is scheduling important to you?
So what are we giving away today? We didn't talk about it. Can we give away like a $15 Cash App?
We can.
Notice I took it from 25 to 15, right?
Well,
So
we have multiple today. Maybe we'll have two. But today, if you are listening, you have the opportunity to win a Cash App. You get lunch on us, right? $15 can get you a nice lunch.
A
You
long
get
way.
A sandwich somewhere, and you can get you a cup of coffee.
Or water.
Or water. Yeah, for those of us.
Or water.
That
Or
prefer
water.
water. Yeah, you'll get water. All right. So I think, Regina, we up for our first break.
We are here.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with my niece, Sierra. Quit up.
She got it right, y'all.
Quit up. We'll be right back.
Master Baker Sierra Crudup, owner of Delicious Sweets Bake Shop and Craven Cookies, located at
Hey, Metro Detroit, it's me, Tune Up, Regina, the Queen of Carlones, and Joe Longhammer Chevrolet, right in Waterford on Summit.
It's tax time, and we got 3 amazing offers for you.
Choose from 5 free oil changes
$500 extra for your trade.
or $500 towards your down payment.
But there's a catch, right?
That's right. I can only process 25 of these deals per month.
Metro Detroit, don't wait.
Call or text 248-266-9875. 248-266-9875.
Hey, Metro.
Master Baker Sierra Crudup, owner of Delicious Sweets Bake Shop and Craven Cookies, located at 203 South Washington Street in Saginaw, Michigan, inside of the SVRC Marketplace. If you're looking for delicious sweets, this is the place to stop in. They specialize in homemade desserts and one-of-a-kind custom cakes. They can be reached at 248-836-8080 or dsibakeshop.com.
Hi, it's Regina, the Queen of Car Loans at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet.
And I'm Joe Longhammer.
We're doing something special for tax season. You can get 5 free oil changes, or you can get an extra $500 for your trade-in, or you can get $500 extra for your down payment.
Regina can only handle 25 of these special deals every month.
Because I work personally on each loan to get the best deal possible.
When these 25 spots are gone this month, they're gone.
I'm Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and I'll get you approved. Come in and say, give me the queen, or go to thequeendeals.com.
And we are back. And we are back. So I'm so super excited. We have Sierra Crudup, the owner of Delicious Sweets Bake Shop and Craven Cookies in the building. Good morning, Sierra.
Good morning. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. Did you see that commercial? Wasn't that nice?
I did. I like that.
Like that.
Good morning, Annette from Florida. They popping in. Annette from Florida.
Annette.
Look how she checked me.
Yeah, I did right on. Yep, that's Aunt Annette.
Yes,
Annette.
Annette from Florida. So, Sierra, we're excited to have you on every month on the second Saturday of the month. We're excited that you have some great things to share with us today. So let's get right into it. What are we talking about today?
All right. So today we're talking about pruning for growth. And I'm very excited about this topic because I just had like a realization a few weeks ago about growth and going to the next level. And yeah, so we're talking about pruning for growth.
Okay, what does that look like?
So, if you think about the word prune, it means to remove or take away.
Wait,
or
let's go back. The word prune don't mean to remove unless you eat it and it helps you.
Okay, well, well, you know what?
Literally a prune.
I'm thinking I'm about to go to the bathroom.
That's what I was thinking. Right?
No. We're talking about like molding and
Yeah.
stripping away, and we're talking about that.
That
Not prune
will
juice.
do that. Prune will do that.
Not prune juice. Y'all silly.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, you talking about prunes, and I was like, ew. But pruning can literally make you go, ew, because you got to
Yeah.
do some stuff. So let's talk about it.
Yes. So now that we know we're not talking about actual prunes, we're talking about removing, getting rid of, taking away some things to go to the next level. So when I think about pruning for growth in my own life or at my own business, I thought about having multiple locations and having to close one of them or many of them. So I thought about myself as a business owner first, and I thought about how when things were not going how they needed to go, or when it was really time just to let it go and I didn't want to, at the time I didn't realize that that was part of my pruning process so that I can go to the next level, but I had to get rid of some things that were no longer serving me.
Wow, that's good. So let's talk about that. Like when you don't want to let things go, because I see it in myself, right? There's things that I do not want to release. So how do you get to the point where you know what? It's time to shed this, to remove this. It's no longer serving me. How do you get to that point?
That can be a hard realization to come to when you're in something, whether it be a person, whether it be a business, an opportunity, it could even be a job. When you are experiencing things in your life and they're not serving you, they're causing you unnecessary stress, it's causing you not to sleep at night. You have an anxiety, you don't know what to do. Sometimes you have to sit down and look at that thing and weigh the good and the bad. And if the bad outweighs the good, then it's time for you to let some things go so that you can go to the next level.
Wow, that's good.
That's not always easy.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Like the word of the day was scheduling. So when you hear the word scheduling, how does scheduling and pruning work together?
Man. So, right now I'm really trying to establish balance in my life. And I'm learning that I have to schedule pretty much everything that I do, and I have to live by that schedule. and going to the next level and growing and taking some things away and adding some things in, I have to use a schedule and I have to follow it, even if it makes me uncomfortable. Like this morning, I was supposed to be to work at 7 o'clock. And because I was at church really late last night, I overslept and I still had to come to work, So
Amen.
regardless,
Hold on. Amen. She was in the house of the Lord last night.
Thank you, Jesus.
In the house of the Lord last night.
Jesus.
I ain't gonna tell you where I was, but okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
Don't do
so
it.
I might want to know.
That's another saga.
Okay. So yeah, although I'm tired today, this was a very busy week for me. I still had to get to work because I have goals to meet, and I know that I'm growing, and I want to go to the next level. So I had to follow my schedule, regardless of being late, regardless of being tired. I still had to come in today.
Wow.
So, can I jump in?
Yeah, come on in. Oh,
Y'all in unison today.
You was tardy for the party, so hey,
I was just admiring how good we look.
in the room.
I don't know what the light switch is over here. What's that, Santi? Light switch.
That means we on.
We look good. Anyway, let me just say this. I know I'm just out of order here, but we are giving away a $15 Cash App
for
today.
lunch.
So, if you ask Sierra a question, engage, talk to us, or you can call us at 248-905-1128. That's 248-905-1128. Or just ask a question in the comments. No?
Yeah, you can ask a question in the comments. Sierra's prepared to answer questions.
Oh, so let me ask you. So, being a business owner, when you talk about you talk about pruning for your growth. What happens when who has your back? When you're a business owner, and it's you got your staff. Who has your back besides God?
That's a good question. Outside, I would always say that hopefully you have someone in your corner that you can confide in. Event and let her know what's going on and how I'm feeling, or even if I don't want to let her know how I'm feeling, I can answer the phone and she knows something ain't right. So she is somebody who is close to me that I can call and vent to and confide in. So having somebody that's close to you, and if you don't have that person, I always recommend that every business owner has a mentor. Or every person in the profession has a mentor. So if you have a mentor, you can call that person and they definitely will have your back.
So you know what? Sometimes, when I think about it, sometimes you just want to make a phone call and hear somebody's voice. When your back is against the wall and some things are going on and you're pruning for your growth, right? I love that word. I would never came up with that, but because it's the younger times in the 30s. Remember we talked about the younger doctors, younger entrepreneurs. But you think about it, sometimes when your back is against the wall and things are happening and you're pruning for growth, and it doesn't matter what age you are or where you are in your career, you're trying to further yourself, right? You always sometimes want to pick the phone up and hear just that certain voice.
Yeah.
I had this situation this morning. My auntie's on here. I don't know if she's still on here, but I just called her just on my way in. Just want to hear her voice. Nothing. So when you're pruning for growth and you want things to happen, sometimes you just got to hear someone's voice.
Yeah.
Just be like, okay.
Connect with somebody.
Connect. Thank you.
Yeah,
You always
that's
have me
a
coming with
good
the right
thing.
word. Connect. You got to connect with somebody.
Yeah. Especially somebody who cares about you.
Yes.
Yeah, and have your best interest at
Yes.
heart. So
Yeah.
you have many of us are connected to people that really we just connected to them. But there's a difference when there's a divine connection, and that just like Sierra mentioned, like sometime I can hear her voice, but also Holy Spirit, like literally for me, like I know when something going on with her and you. Like that, I'll call at the right time. If you think about it, I'll pick the phone up and call. But anyway, back to you, Sierra. So we gonna stay here because I ain't gonna go there because the sermon is real. But one thing I like about what you said, pruning the things that don't serve you well. One thing about pruning, it helps bring clarity and purpose to what you're really doing. So let's go back to that. And I like how you don't mind sharing your story that you've had to close businesses. You had to close places where you were at, and they were uncomfortable. But how did you get through the uncomfortable spaces?
I'm not going to say that that process was easy, because a lot of times, whether you should let something go or not, if you want to hold on to it, you definitely still want to hold on to it. But I think it came to the point where, like Regina said, when your back is against the wall, sometimes you just have to take a moment and reflect on those things and realize, is this what's good and what's bad? And if the bad outweighs the good, then it's time to let it go, regardless of how uncomfortable it is. And I can talk about something that recently happened with me and my business. I had to get a whole new team of staff. And that was very uncomfortable for me because I was comfortable in what the team that I had built. It was familiar. They knew what to do. On the outside looking in, it seemed like everything was going well, but there was some things that were happening that did not serve my business, and it was not leading us into the right direction. And even though it was uncomfortable, I had to hire new people and get rid of some older people, because I know if I want to come up to this level, I had to bring my staff up to that level. And if the current people that I had on my team were not willing to go up to that next level, then they had to go.
So how do you know? How do you know when it's time to clean house? How do you know when it's time to move on? Because
Yeah.
I know I was talking to a friend of mine, actually a friend of mine, one of my coworkers last night last night after work, and we were talking about how it is in the dealership. You know what I mean? We think it was some people that they actually got rid of. You know what I mean? And let people go, fired them, right?
Yeah.
And we're thinking to ourselves, well, it's about time. You know what I mean? So when do you know it's that right time to pull the trigger to fire someone or let somebody go? Or
Yeah.
do you let them continue to um, run your business down before you
Mhm.
let them go? Because sometimes people don't want to let go. I find that with myself. I have to be told, you know what? You gotta let that go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta let it go.
For
And
sure.
I've had someone in my life that I thought was going to be able to grow with me, that I was like praying on how I was going to get rid of that person, right? And Dr. T would say, you know what? You would give me like certain things, certain options and talk to me about it. But
Yeah.
then God knocked on the door and the person went away.
Mm,
They did. They went away
mm,
without me having to tell them to go away.
mm.
I can't really show you what it is because it has something to do with the car business. But yeah, that person kind of like moved out the way, and that to me, it was like I waited until I waited. I didn't know how to say bye. I didn't know how to say it's time for you to go.
Yeah. Well, we as people, we have hard time
I was talking to
releasing
Sierra
people.
though.
Yeah, I'm talking in general. So, Sierra, I'm interested in the question Regina asked you. Like, how do you know it's time to clean house?
Well, like Regina was saying, a lot of times you don't want to let go. You don't, it's hard. That's a hard conversation and it's a hard reality. But how I knew it was time is when I looked at my goals and then I looked at some of my team's work ethic. And I realized that after having conversation with them, after coaching, after constantly giving more chances, they were not going to come up to the new level. And I mean, I'm always one for giving a second chance. So after having sitting down conversations and really explaining things out and then giving them the opportunity to fix things, if they don't do it, then it's time to let them go, because at the end of the day, it's going to bring my business down. And I've worked way too hard to let anyone bring my business down, especially when I get up early in the morning and I sacrifice a whole lot to have what I have, and I'm paying you. So if that person, after giving them a chance, after communicating, after coaching, cannot do what you're asking, then it's time to let them go.
Wow.
It's funny. It's funny that you say that because I have to be told constantly that nobody's gonna do what I do. Nobody's gonna show up like you do.
Yeah.
And I think even if we think because we're paying them to do something, that
Yeah.
they're gonna do exactly what we want them to do,
Yeah.
and how we want them to do it. And that's not how it works.
Yeah.
People have in their mind that you paying me for it, but I'm gonna do it the way I want to do it.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
just how it is. And I have you have to be okay with it, right? And being okay with something is a hard pill.
Sierra,
know?
yeah, because when you think about work ethics, right? One of the things that I talk about to both you and Regina, I have talked about that to both of you in the past, is that nobody's, like Regina says, nobody's going to show up like you, right? Nobody knows your goals and what you're trying to reach and how you're going to, the customers mean everything to you. Like I remember even when you first started, you wanted to create a family like atmosphere. And so when you find that people don't have the same or not even you don't have to have the same desire as me or the same thought process as me, but at least show up and do the
Right.
work.
Yeah.
So
Do the work.
how do you determine a person's work ethic versus your expectation versus just who they are?
Yeah. I had to learn the hard way that people are not like me. Like Regina said, nobody's going to work as hard as you. And when it's your business, you view it differently, you treat it differently. However, if you have an employee and you're paying them, then they have to meet the expectation. Like, okay, they may not treat it like you treat it, they may not love it like you love it, but they have to treat it with care. They have to take pride in the work that they're doing because at the end of the day, it's a job. They're getting paid for it. They don't get to just come in and do whatever they want.
Hmm. Yeah, so how do you determine, because I know every employee can be taught if they want to. So how do you determine when it's time for someone to be promoted? Because I know you're talking about pruning for growth. And so as you prune, you look at other people, I'm sure other employees. So how do you determine who's going to be in what position?
That is a really good question. For me, I look at people's qualities, and some people are overachievers. Some people want to go the extra mile. So for those people who show up every single day and they give an extra level of care, then I know that they can be promoted or they can be trusted with more responsibilities. Whereas you may have some employees that's just going to do the bare minimum.
Wow.
So how do you okay, so but how do you reward, because what I have learned is that it's the small things that actually matter to people.
Hmm.
So how do you reward do you reward your employees for the small things that they do? Because you can give a person a promotion, maybe it takes them a while. It takes you a while to build up to a promotion, right?
Yeah.
But what are the small things that you do for your employees that
Mhm.
that will encourage them?
Girl, I
Um,
bought them a bag and I still ain't got one.
Well, we got bags, and we
I mean, she
TT
bought.
Gina ain't got no bag
No, I
either.
mean she bought them a good
What?
bag too. Tell.
What kind
I
of? Wait a
mean,
minute. What kind of
all
bag?
of them got a
Well,
bag.
we still waiting for her to come and deliver them.
I mean,
So
they
I
all
mean,
got one of them MCM bags or something. Some she bought. I still want me
oh, is
one.
that right? Do we need to come up there and work a couple hours to get
I
the bag?
mean, I used to be the manager. I ain't getting no bag, but I ain't gonna say nothing.
good
Wow,
Hi,
morning,
Pastor
Pastor.
Washington. I see you,
wow,
Pastor Washington. Good morning.
wow,
God bless you, sir. This is
wow.
Um,
Sierra Pastors watching, Regina.
Hey, Pastor. How you doing, Pastor? Great point. Good morning, sir. We're gonna take a quick break, and
We'll be
we'll
right
be.
back. We'll be right back after this break. Master Baker Sierra Crudup, owner of Delicious Sweets Bake Shop and Craven Cookies, located at 203 South Washington Street in Saginaw, Michigan, inside of the SVRC Marketplace. If you're looking for delicious sweets, this is the place to stop in. They specialize in homemade desserts and one-of-a-kind custom cakes. They can be reached at 248-836-8080 or dsibakeshop.com.
Hey, Metro Detroit, it's me, Tune Up, Regina, the queen of car loans, and Joe Longhammer Chevrolet, right in Waterford on Summit.
It's tax time, and we got 3 amazing offers for you.
Choose from 5 free oil changes
$500 extra for your trade.
or $500 towards your down payment.
But there's a catch, right?
That's right, I can only process 25 of these deals per month.
Metro Detroit, don't wait.
Call or text 248-266-9875. 248-266-9875.
Hey,
We're back, and we still have Sierra Crudup in the house. She's talking about pruning for growth. In the beginning, when we thought of pruning, we thought about prune juice, when you were kids, or your parents, or
Or
your
just eating
grandparents,
prunes,
right?
period.
You eat the prune, bathroom, that makes you move your system, flush your system, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about pruning for growth. Like pruning to go to the bathroom, but pruning it for growth. That was a commercial. I need to get paid on that one.
You showed it. All right, Sierra, let's jump right into it. Let's go back to where we were.
You were asking me, what do I do to appreciate my employees? What do I do to
Marketing.
show them appreciation? So that is a good question that you asked me, because in this new team that I hired, I asked all of them, like, in what ways do they like to be appreciated? And I was very surprised. A lot of them said affirming them, just saying, hey, you're doing a really good job.
Wow.
I like how you did this today. Or if they do something, they're doing really good with the customer, a compliment. And I always think about a gift. So for them to say a compliment means a whole lot to them was amazing to me. So
Pause
they
on that.
started,
Pause on that one.
yeah.
Let's talk about that one for a minute. It's funny that they say that because at work, we are always saying, me and Michelle, my finance manager, we're always saying, well, nobody says to us, well, good job on this, or good job with that customer, or good job on, it's no compliment. So compliments go a long way. It goes a long way. And I'm telling you, as working in a dealership, you being an entrepreneur, you having help me out.
Having a bakery and a
No,
cookie.
having employees, right?
Yeah.
Having employees. Compliments go a long
They
way.
do.
They go a long way. And it's not even about the gifts. It's about just saying something nice or compliment because you're paying attention to their job or what they're doing.
Yeah, especially when people are actually doing their best.
Yes.
And even when they're not doing so great, it's a way to say things to make people still feel good about it, constructive criticism. And so I think complimenting me, I'm a affirmer. So if I can say something to push you, and that's part of coaching too. So I'm glad that you mentioned that, because affirming is really a part of coaching your staff. Like telling them, listen, you're doing a great job, or let's try it a different way.
Well, the best way to, what I find is, being in the car business over 20 years, the best way to get to a customer's heart is to compliment them. You know what I mean? Oh, you look nice today. I like your shoes, or I like your outfit. Your hair is nice, your teeth is nice, or just getting them to talk about them. Anytime you get someone to talk about them or their kids or their family or whatever, their spouse, whatever is most important to them, that's gonna get them more excited.
Wow.
So okay, I was gonna get off the subject a little bit, but I won't. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, what prompted you to ask that question? Because I know you got a new team, and Regina was like, "That's a good question." So, what prompted you to ask that particular question?
The reason why I asked that question is because first, I started asking employees how much money do they want to make. It's because I want to consider the employee. I want to know what their expectation is, what makes them happy, and what's going to drive them to do better. So I asked them, what pay range are you looking for? And I find that a lot of people don't know. They'll say, I don't know. Or some people will say, well, this amount. And most of the time when I ask them, it's lower than what I was thinking in my head. But the reason why I asked that question is, again, I want to see where they're at and know exactly what they're looking for. So when it comes to appreciating the employee, I wanted to know what would make them want to do better, what would make them want to help me reach my goals. So, and I want to be able to follow through with those things, because I'm not going to be able to give them a raise every month. I'm not going to be able to give them a raise maybe every couple of months, but I can do something small just to show them that I appreciate them and that they're doing a good job.
So the small things go a long way.
Yeah.
So and sometimes you can give a person a raise or give them a small raise, but if you're not having conversations with them, especially if you're a small business, the small business can't ride the business by themselves. You can't do it alone.
Yeah.
You can't be on an island alone, right?
Oh,
So you got to have that. You like that?
Yeah.
So so again, you can't be. You're not on the island alone. You have to have a staff. You have to have backup. You have to have people you trust.
Sierra,
Besides cameras.
do you bring your employees in?
I got those.
You catch that one, did you?
Yeah, besides cameras. Do you bring your employees to the table when you're talking about the growth? Because you're talking about pruning for growth, do you bring them to the table to kind of hear their ideas that can help push the business forward, and then kind of share what your goals for like the quarter is?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. We had a staff meeting last week, and I told the employees what my goals are for this year for Delicious Sweets and Craven Cookies, and then I told them what the goals are for me as their employer. That how much I want to increase their pay this year if we do reach our goals. So I recently started bringing them to the table so that they feel included and they can take ownership of their work in their position here, as an employee. I was working with a new person this week, and I told her to feel comfortable in this space and that it's just as much as her space as it is mine. And I want her to just get comfortable, make herself at home, and treat it like it's her own. Because when somebody is treating it like it is theirs, most of the time they're not going to harm their own stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
That's
That's
facts.
good. And does that, like, you included them in that? So, do you see the performance better? I know you got a new team, so I'm sure you probably can't answer that question in detail today. But do
Yeah.
you believe that that's going to have employees perform better when they're included in what's happening with the business?
Absolutely. I think if they're clear on the goals and they feel if they want to help me reach those goals, then absolutely. And you'd be surprised when you start including people and they're clear on things and they know that it's going to help them overall, they definitely jump on board.
That's good. Regina, where you at?
Well, you know what? I was thinking about. Well, I'm gonna tell you what I was thinking about. Yeah, I don't like the way you front me off like that
Because
for a minute.
she over there on her phone, here. So,
No, I was okay. So you know what? We'll have a sidebar at breakfast on that one. Like she just fronted me off, guys.
I love it.
We'll have a little sidebar at breakfast. Me and your mom will have a sidebar at breakfast about what she just did. Okay.
So,
Let me just say this. So I've been watching you um, on Facebook this
mhm.
last couple weeks. I see that you have a new. What's going on with your? It's a new look. What do you have new going on? Because I see the appearance has changed. Everything has changed. It's like you had. It's like you had a baby and you had one yet. I mean, you had a new birth.
So,
I mean, seriously, because I've seen more activity on Facebook. I mean, you always have activity on Facebook, right? But
yeah.
now it's like it's more engaging. I could tell. I could just see another, like you had a baby. Like, I mean, you and my brother-in-law. I mean, my son-in-law had a baby. Like a new
Nephew-in-law.
birth.
Your nephew-in-law?
Oh yeah, well, yes, what I meant. Damn, like I'm the mama, right? Yeah, my nephew-in-law, my nephew, right? So it's like y'all had a baby this week or last couple weeks because I've seen more engagement with I've seen some staff pictures, I've seen
Yeah.
customer pictures. It just looks like it's a whole new scenery. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yep. We had a comment from my pastor. I don't know if you guys can see it. But yes, I
Yeah.
can talk about what's new at Craven Cookies. Um, so Craven Cookies just moved to a new location inside of the marketplace. We have more of a visible location now, and not only did we move, but we've added coffee. So we're giving customers the opportunity to have something to drink with their cookies. They can now get single cookies instead of just buying six. They can pick and choose what they want. They can assemble their own box. And then we have coffee, espresso, homemade hot chocolate. We have tea. So we're really trying to appeal to the customer. I would say over the last 3 years of having Craven Cookies, one of the complaints has been we don't get to choose the quantity of cookie. We have to buy six. So even though it took a while, I listened to the customers. I'm giving them what they want. And then with the growth and with the change of the team and with the change of the branding, we wanted a new look. So we got a brand new look. We have brand new menus in our brand new space with our brand new team and our brand new shirts. And even Delicious Sweets has new shirts. And we're just rebranding. We're really doing more with the customer interaction and appreciating our customers more, trying to beef up our customer service and just give them exactly what they want.
That's good. Pastor Mike Washington said, "What's so insightful about your subject matter on today is that it's applicable in all businesses to include the church." So I like how you said that, Pastor Washington. So Sierra, what do you think about what Pastor Washington said?
I think what he said was True. Talking about pruning for growth, it can be applied to church, it can be applied to business, it can be applied to your own personal life. And a lot of times, having a church is like running a business. I don't
Mhm.
have a church, but I know pastor has to manage people, he has to coach people, he has to put people in place, he has to schedule things. So that is his business. His ministry is his business. So definitely this subject matter, even for someone who does not have a business or someone who works a 9 to 5. Everybody at some point in their life has to prune for growth, has to get rid of
Mhm.
things, has to go to the next level, if that's what they desire.
Yeah, that's good.
So pastors are um, on call 24/7. They have to always be ready.
Yeah.
We think, it's beyond, to me, when you look at a pastor, it's beyond entrepreneurship. It's not even, it's beyond anything, because they always have to be on call. They always have to be ready, right? Because you never know when somebody's going to need you. You never know if you say the wrong thing, how you're going to offend somebody. So, I kudos out to your pastor for watching, but kudos out to you for being out Friday night at the church and then getting up this Saturday morning to be with us, because that takes a lot. I have to push myself to get out. I had to push myself to get out of bed this morning. But yeah, I just have a lot of respect for you,
Mhm.
Sierra, as being my niece, being an entrepreneur. Period, is because you get up and you go. And you set the
Mhm.
tone. You set the tone more than what you ever realize, right? And the
Yeah.
thing about it, when you look at, even though you're in Saginaw, we are here, we're in Bloomfield right now. We're outside of Pontiac, right? But you touch so many lives. You're from Pontiac, but your presence is in Saginaw, but it's always here where you're from.
Yeah.
And the support and the things that you do and the love, and because I pay attention. Sometimes
Yeah.
I got to stop liking stuff, and then I got to stop liking because what I mean. And I say that because I'm just paying attention to your every move.
Yeah.
And I notice now is that I gotta make sure I like and I see it, because sometimes I stroll, then I get to go back. I forget to go back to like and comment, but I gotta take a minute because I really been paying attention to your different movement the last couple weeks, and it actually has touched my heart. And the reason it touched my heart is because I've seen you where so you can tell sometimes when it's like you're here and then you're here and you're trying to move here, right? So when you're close to someone, you see it and you don't know we see it, but just kudos because you're on the move, baby. You're on the move.
Yeah.
I don't have the words that your mom always had, but you're on the move, baby.
No,
You're
thank
on the
you.
move.
Thank
You
you.
are.
I appreciate that. I really do. Because, a lot of times when I do what I do, I don't wake up in the morning and say, oh, I'm going to do this so that people can be happy and people can be proud. I just do what I do because it's in me. And when somebody tells me that I'm doing a good job, it really feels good because a lot of times you don't hear those things from people who are around you every day. We interact with 50, 100, 150 customers every day, and some of them are pleasant, but some of them are not. So hearing that you're doing a good job and that people are seeing you, especially in my hometown, I've gotten 3 phone calls this week for people who want to order cookies. Some people has ordered cookies online from Pontiac, and I shipped them out this week. So I'm seeing that my hometown is still supporting, and I do appreciate that. And they want me to come do a pop up. So as soon
Mhm.
as I can figure that out, we'll be coming to Pontiac.
Okay, so I'm gonna just tell you about yourself and coming to Pontiac. You need to be in the studio here. You need to get yourself
Okay,
in the studio
I'm
in
gonna
the
come to
next
the
6 months.
studio.
In the next 6 months, you got to get here in the studio. So
Okay.
make it live.
I'm glad you mentioned your hometown. So when you talk about pruning for growth,
Mhm.
I know that you're not, I know you service Pontiac, but you're not space. There's not a space in Pontiac.
Mhm.
So let's kind of talk about that too. Like, is that like a sore spot, like not being or having a space here?
Um, it's not a sore spot, and I'm gonna be careful with my words.
Mhm.
But what I realized is that I do have a lot of support in Pontiac. Most of the support is from my family and people who are close to me. I did have a location in Pontiac or in Great Lakes Crossing, which was very, very close to Pontiac. And a lot of the people who always ask me to come they didn't come to the shop. So I know that small business owners complain a lot about people close to them not supporting. And once you grow past that, you will realize that there are a whole group of people waiting to support you, whether it be in your hometown or somewhere else. Like, God has people that are waiting to support you. You have your own crowd. So I do believe that I had to move away to service this area where people did not know me and they support me without a question. And then now my hometown, they're really beefing it up because they're like, hey, I know her, I remember her. And sometimes that's unfortunate that you don't have that same support in your hometown. But the reality is sometimes you have to go so you can grow.
Listen, they used to have a
Go so
song.
you can grow.
I want to go where everybody knows my name. Remember the Cheers? When Cheers would come on, and sometimes when you're somewhere where everybody knows your name, you're common, and that you may
Yeah.
not get appreciated as much.
Yeah.
But I do want to just kind of piggyback what Regina said. I am proud of you. Congratulations for the new moves that you've done.
Yeah.
But there's somebody watching or may hear that want to know, man, what can I do to help move my business, to help me prune so that I can grow? What is something that you want to share with the listeners about what they can do right now, use what they have in their hands to help them prune and grow?
I would tell someone who has that question to sit down and write a list of goals. And when you write your goals, believe that they are realistic. And then start at the top and work your way down to the bottom. I'm the first to tell people that when I started my business, I did not believe that I would be here. But when I got going, I started to see God's vision unfold for my business, and I just kept going. And I will also tell people that I never had all the money that I needed to get started. I worked jobs and I saved money, and I worked jobs while I had my business and to continue to grow it. So you're never going to have all the money. You're never going to have all the answers. It's never going to be a perfect time. You just have to get started. So if you believe in it and you know that you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to sacrifice, you just have to get started.
That's key that you say that because, you really got to think about it. It's really never going to be enough money for you. We have to always realize is that, I have to tell myself this, and and for any entrepreneur out there, I'm getting for being older, seasoned, right? You, if you don't worry so much about the money will come if you're good at what you
Yeah.
do. The money will come.
Yeah.
And I think too many times we worry about it, right? Because that's what we do, right? But sometimes we have to not, I can say sometimes, and I say this all the time, we got to give it to God. Once we
Yes.
give it to God, we have to release, right? And know that's going to come regardless.
Yeah.
And that's one way let me just say this, how I've been successful over the years, right? And even with me and Dr. T, because I would say, well, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? It's like, well, God always make a way when he needs to all the time. Because you wonder how I'm going to do it. And what does he do? He makes it happen.
Every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and close it out because I want to come back with a car tip.
Yeah, so Sierra, share with the listeners how they can contact you if they want to order Craven cookies, if they want to order from Delicious Sweets. How can the viewers and listeners contact you?
Okay, before I share that, I just want to say thank you to you both. You're my mom and you're my TT, and I appreciate you both because
Right.
even though you guys don't get to come and get cookies all the time or see me in action and what I'm doing, you both play a big role in what I do. My mom encouraging me all the time. They bought me the coffee pot, the coffee machine for the new spot was my Christmas gift. So, and then with TT Gina, the partnership that we have with you, that has helped open up a lot of doors. That has helped bring more people to me to get cookies shipped to them. Them seeing that we even do that, more people want to get on board. You've helped me reach some goals with your numbers. I had to buy new signs. All of those things, they matter. Even though you guys aren't here every single day, you are here with me. And I appreciate it because a lot of the things that I've been able to accomplish, you have helped me do it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I can be reached on Facebook and Instagram at Delicious Sweets Bake Shop and Craven Cookies. Again, that's Facebook and Instagram, Delicious Sweets Bake Shop and Craven Cookies and Coffee.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. It was so insightful. Have a great, productive day and happy Saturday.
Next 6 months, you got to be in
All
the
right, I'll be there.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Happy Saturday.
Happy
Happy
Saturday. Yeah, that was good.
Wow.
Gave a lot of good
She did. She
information.
did.
Pruning for growth. I'm gonna have to go back and look at this again, so to see how I can use some of those tips to help me grow.
I'm gonna put that in our group chat.
Okay.
Pruning for growth.
Yeah,
That's a
pruning
new
for,
word. Pruning for growth.
that's
You
good.
know, the one thing I want to say about the pruning for growth, the one thing I love about when you have youngness in your life
Mm,
is that they have you look at things in a different perspective.
mm-hmm,
You know, remember I talked about the young doctor, right?
mm-hmm,
Different perspective. Sierra, different perspective.
mm-hmm.
Because she turned a word in, we're thinking about pruning for going to the bathroom, but pruning for growth. Because you think about that's how we
Prunes,
grew up,
yeah,
prunes,
prunes.
right? I never did that, right? My auntie, I mean, back in the day, my auntie and my mom was like, yeah, we're gonna bring some prune juice. Prune juice. I mean, my grandmother did the prune juice. But hey, I just wanted real quick. I just wanted to give a couple car tips when buying a car. If you're looking to go buy a car, things that you need to actually look for or think about before you actually, well, when you're preparing to go in the dealership, right? You know, a lot of people know that me being in the car business, that I especially I was a customer that had Bruce credit. I don't like to say the word bad, but Bruce credit. And the
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that people don't ask is, what does my warranty cover?
Mm,
You know,
yeah.
does it cover the engine? Does it cover the transmission? Or what does it cover? A lot of people don't know, and they're calling asking after the fact. But when you're in that box with the finance manager or you with the salesperson, you need to be asking, what does my warranty cover? Can you highlight? Can you tell me what it covers? You know, or do you keep a copy of your warranty? You know, because people don't think about until something happens,
Yeah, that's
you
true.
need to get it fixed.
That's
How do I get
true.
it fixed? What do
That's
I do?
true. Yeah, and so it's important, like especially when you get the warranty, I keep everything because I want to know if something go wrong with my vehicle. I want to know that it's covered because I need a warranty because bills are high. Like car repairs can be expensive, so I want to know what my warranty covers immediately.
You know, one thing I can say about you, Dr. T, she's not driving any. She's driving a GM product, but she's not driving what I sell, even though she supported me for years. That was a little hate shade on her right there, but
I
no,
bought enough cars from you
no,
to last a lifetime. Okay,
and it's all about the repeat. But no, one thing I can say about
I'm
you is
still
that
driving your brand.
yeah, General Motors. Okay, so let me just say this: the one thing about what I know that you do is that you ask a lot of questions.
I do.
You know, and you don't, no question is a dumb question. So you need to make sure you ask questions. Another thing, what you need to make sure you do before you get that car is check your insurance.
That's true.
A lot of people wait till the last minute. If you have 2 or 3 cars that you want to get, right, or options, you got to check, well, how much is that insurance going to cost
Yeah,
me?
that's real.
You know, the one thing what I noticed, and I checked this too, right? But when I went to another insurance company, I switched because my insurance went up with Progressive, so I switched to Safeco. But is that I checked my insurance, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my insurance went up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm driving an electric car, but my insurance is more now. Not putting gas, but I'm paying more for
Mhm.
insurance.
But you're right because different cars that insurance go up because baby, when that
When you
that
drive
got on there,
luxury,
when you drive luxury,
Dr. T,
I
that's
mean,
what
it
happens.
changed. I was like,
Yeah.
wait. You know, that determines what kind of car you gonna drive when you think about that insurance.
So if I didn't leave you anything today, check before you buy a car. Know what your warranty is, especially if you're buying a used car, a pre-owned vehicle. Know what your warranty is, and check your insurance rates because those are important.
They
Those
are.
are the things that will help you in the future.
Good morning, Allison. Good morning, everybody, for watching. And I just want to leave a number today. I want to leave a mental health number for NAMI. If there is anyone that's suffering with mental illness now and you need to reach somebody, call 1-800-950-NAMI, NAMI. And it's open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern weekdays. And this is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. People they help.
Can we put that number in the bottom?
Individuals, families, and professionals. So
What's
it's
that number?
1-800-950-NAMI, NAMI. And so I want you all to know
Can you
that
give
if
one more
you
time?
1-800-950-NAMI. So if you're facing a mental crisis right now, these are crisis hotline numbers and they're toll free. This is for families, individuals, and professionals. if you are in need of mental health. So it's NAMI, 1-800-950-NAMI.
NAMI.
Yes, NAMI, NAMI. So if you are in need of help, or if you need a therapist, call, or you can Google www.psychologytoday.com. If you need a therapist, put your area code in, and boom.
So Dr. T, one more quick. What led you to give that number out today?
So I'm going to be giving out hotline numbers every weekend now, every Saturday, just to share, because we see that mental illness is on the rise and people need help. And I want to be a person that gives you a resource to get the help that you need.
Using your resource, I like that you gave it out because there's a lot of things going on in our area, even in Pontiac and in the world, that people
Yeah.
need. They need help, and they don't know how to seek it out.
Yeah, and there's plenty mental health numbers, so I'll be sharing some more numbers on next phone numbers and names on next Saturday as well. So, thank y'all for listening. Happy
Oh, yeah.
Saturday! This has been very refreshing. So
Saturday.
I hope you guys go back and listen and share. And also, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel. Be in the driver's seat.
Have a good week.
Yep. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday, everyone.
Master Baker Sierra Crudup, owner of Delicious Sweets Bake Shop and Craven Cookies, located at 203 South Washington Street in Saginaw, Michigan, inside of the SVRC Marketplace. If you're looking for delicious sweets, this is the place to stop in. They specialize in homemade desserts and one-of-a-kind custom cakes. They can be reached at 248-836-8080 or dsibakeshop.com.
Hey, Metro Detroit, it's me, Tune Up, Regina, the queen of car loans, and Joe Longhammer Chevrolet, right in Waterford on Summit.
It's tax time, and we got 3 amazing offers for you.
Choose from 5 free oil changes
$500 extra for your trade.
or $500 towards your down payment.
But there's a catch, right?
That's right, I can only process 25 of these deals per month.
Metro Detroit, don't wait.
Call or text 248-266-9875. 248-266-9875.
Hey, Metro Detroit, it's me.